What's up, everybody? This is Alex Kelly back here with another episode of the Furloughed Film Talks podcast. Here with my brother Ryan.
What's up, everybody?
Max is over there just sitting around doing nothing. We are here Friday. We've got a lot of comic book stuff to talk about. I'm wearing my Mighty Ducks jersey because the new Mighty Ducks Game Changer series. Garrett watched it. Was not impressed. So
I'm not surprised.
We will talk about that in the future once Ryan we have a chance to watch it. But today we are going to be reviewing the first and second episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is also on Disney Plus. We will talk through the first two episodes, which have been released. The second one came out today. And in a minute, we will talk about the Suicide Squad, which was Red Band trailer. So we'll talk about that in a second. Ryan, do we want to announce anything for next week potentially, or no? We're just going to leave that up to.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Tuesday might be a very interesting episode. Everybody should definitely listen to that one, or not if you have certain stances on things. That is the only thing that I will tease, Ryan.
Abortion.
Yes.
There's a fortune.
And so that's going to be a really, really interesting one. But today they came out with the first Red Band trailer for the Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn, former director of Guardians of the Galaxy, with a humongous cast. And it dropped today. Ryan, we did not enjoy this trailer as much as a lot of other people that I've seen.
Oh, so people actually enjoyed this thing?
A lot of people did.
I'm gonna have to apologize to our audience in advance.
Yeah, you're gonna be bitching a lot.
This is not gonna be like a very positive episode for me today.
We're gonna agree on this, but I think we're going to very, very much diverge when we start talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, I mean, to be honest, like, I wasn't incredibly excited for this from the get-go. Like, when they announced that they were doing another Suicide Squad movie, but like James Gunn was going to come in and, you know, somehow save the Suicide Squad franchise, I was like, that sounds like a dumb idea.
And you have to like start it off with like, it's different in trying to like reboot something.
This is like a half reboot.
Yeah,
this is somewhere weird in the middle where they're like, they are rebooting it, but like half the cast is the same.
It's almost kind of, and it go back to like Mighty Ducks, where like the Mighty Ducks still has Emilio Estevez, so it's more in the.
This is like
that's more like of a clear cut continuation, like remake type thing.
Yeah.
Whereas this feels like they're trying to reboot it, but with the continuation of some of the same characters, but also like having to re-explain what the plot is. That's why like when the trailer started and it's like, I'm gonna, you're
gonna have something in the base of your skull that can blow your head off if you disobey.
Which like that's 20-ish seconds of the trailer that like, okay, anybody who like gives a shit about any of this like kind of already knows. Like, anybody who's gonna like seek out this trailer already knows that information. Like, you're not really providing new information to your audience because this movie came out 4 years ago now.
No, 5. It's 2016.
So like
it was like the end of the summer of 2016.
So like that was like when it started to do that, that's when I felt like, okay, that feels like a weird choice for the
that wasn't even like my biggest gripe with it. I mean, so again,
you're
like,
right, 2016.
I wasn't very excited for this movie to begin with. I thought it was a bad idea. And then seeing this trailer, like, I think this might have the potential to be worse than the original Suicide Squad. Like, at least the original Suicide Squad trailer was more exciting than this trailer.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, this trailer was just like, okay, we're going to take, like, some of the characters that everyone really liked from the original Suicide Squad, and we're going to bring in a bunch of, like,
even more random villains.
Really popular actors, like Idris Elba, and you're going to bring in Pete Davidson and
Nathan Fillion, Dustin Dalmakian.
Who's the WWE guy?
John Cena. Sylvester Stallone is playing King Shark.
Right, so you can bring in all of these, like, really popular actors to kind of like fill out the cast, and then just make it really like crude and crass with James Gunn. Like
that's
none
the weirdest part.
of the jokes in the trailer are funny.
No,
like
there's a bunch of dick jokes where they're talking about like dicks on the beach, and then like
I'm pretty sure the weasel like has a micro penis.
yeah, which like if you watch the trailer, you'd be like, oh no, that's his tail. But like if you which is what we did.
We watched it
We
like
watched
10
it like
times.
multiple times back, and it was like no, there's something swinging there, like
Between his legs.
which like maybe that's
not-
weird on our part that we were like, does Weasel have a penis? And like that's probably our
Well,
problem.
the fact that like there's like a glint of something and you have to go back and
yeah,
watch it 10 times
it's
is
weird.
like I think that's indicative of like
And then like the
how-
joke of
like,
like with the thinker who's played by Peter Capaldi, where it's like if you even think about like fucking us over, like we'll kill you, and then Harley, like, and everybody's like Harley Quinn is the best. Like Margot Robbie has some great scenes as her some of the time, but like her being like, and if you have like a custom license plate, I'll fucking kill you. Like no, like,
I would really
don't need
not
that
want to
shit.
like hang out with anyone who thought Margot Robbie does a good Harley Quinn.
But like so there's all of that, and then yes, you do have, and I think that's one of there's two things that I thought was cool about this, and it's the cast is insane. Like you can hate the trailer, but you can legitimately look at the cast and be like, holy shit, this is a lot of really, really good actors, and putting them all
No, not even like, not really. Okay, you can look at the cast and say like there's a handful of really good actors.
Idris Elba,
Yeah,
Joel Kinnaman,
yeah.
Peter Capaldi.
Who's that?
Peter Capaldi is the guy with the things like sticking out of his head. He played Doctor Who. He's amazing. He's an amazing
Sure,
actor.
I'll grant you that.
As I look at Dustin Dalmakian, who has been in Ant-Man, Dark Knight, and a slew of other
He's
stuff.
the polka dot dude.
Yes, which like that's a super weird character, but like that's kind of the
Okay,
point.
this is like a cast full of kind of like B to B minus actors.
Would you call Joe Kinnaman? Jai Courtney, Viola Davis, who's a great actor. Taika Waititi is in it.
Who the fuck is Taika Waititi though?
I don't know, but it says he's in it, so that's kind of weird.
Well,
hold on, as I look through the rest of this cast. Sean Gunn plays the Weasel, which that's gonna be super weird.
Vinny is saying, "What's up, Vinny?" Vinny's
Hey,
saying
Vinny.
that Sylvester Stallone voices
King Shark. Yeah, so that Pete Davidson's in it. I love Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson's great.
Nathan
Yeah.
Fillion is great. Like, there's some good actors in this. Like, I'm not saying like, and you can tell that I have not said John Cena because like the only thing that I know John Cena really from in film is when he's talking about like sucking dicks in Trainwreck
Yeah,
with Keith Robinson. It's
right.
like, do you want to fuck me? Like that kind of scene. So like, that's the only thing that I know really John Cena from. Yeah, and then there's
I think
Idris Elba. Idris Elba is a fucking badass.
I think the biggest actresses in this are Idris Elba and Margot Robbie, and then everyone else is like second.
Yeah, like they're B tier. I think Viola Davis. Viola Davis is A for sure.
Sure.
She's
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she was nominated for Best Actress this year.
Well, anyways,
No, it just does.
what do you think? What do you think of Sylvester Stallone voicing King Shark?
I love it. I think that is like that's my favorite part of the whole trailer is King Shark because King Shark is like the most absurd character in the world, anyways. So like having Sylvester Stallone do it is. And
you know what my favorite part of the trailer was?
What's that?
Who's the polka dot dude?
Dustin Dalmakian.
What's his like actual character's name?
Polka dot.
Just polka dot.
Literally just polka dot.
When polka dot is like, I hope we all die.
That's a great scene. And then
Because
Idris
that
Elba.
is how I felt watching this trailer.
Yeah. So David Dasmalkian. I was getting that one really wrong.
You're probably still mispronouncing that.
Whatever. Polka dot man.
Polka dot man.
So he throws like polka dots and shit. I love the fact that they're including King Shark in this. And like the great thing about this being R is like King Shark can do the craziest shit that he wants, including eating a man.
Rip some dude like literally horizontally.
And like
or
in another
vertically, I
scene,
guess.
he's just like snacking on a head. Like
he's literally chewing on a skull.
yeah, so like there's gonna be some bad shit moments in that. So like I'm excited for
Yeah.
that. The rest of the film, I'm kind of excited for Joel Kinnaman too.
I love Joel Kinnaman.
I think Joel Kinnaman is legitimately doing like his For All Mankind accent in this movie, or just like kind of doing the Southern accent a little bit more.
You think so?
Yeah, I could hear it a couple times.
he had that in the original Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but it's like it's a little more.
He had
this
that kind
time.
of just like a sergeant
Yeah.
speak type thing.
Which that's more like rah, rah, and this like it's legit like down south like bayou type shit, like type accent. So I'm really excited. Jesus, Finney's blowing it up.
Yeah, he's going on a tear here.
Is it all about Suicide Squad?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about the giant starfish?
That is the other part. Okay, so there are three things. I love that part as well. That's Starro.
Why?
Do you know what Starro is, Ryan?
No.
So Starro literally is this like world like takeovery kind of bad guy where he'll come into a planet and then little Starros will drop off of him.
Okay.
What
Are they
happens-
all starfish? Like, is he always a starfish?
Yes. All the little
Okay.
starfishes go onto like people's faces
Awesome.
and they mind control them and they can like do whatever they want. So the fact that they're doing a character that is as insane as Starro makes me really happy because like get as crazy as you want in a movie. And that's why I'm not like freaking out about this movie too much, like with this one trailer. If I think what they're doing is really close to like Legends of Tomorrow in terms of like batshit craziness, like I'm stoked. Like I think it's gonna be really, really interesting and cool.
Yeah.
It just kind of scares me that like some of the dialogue doesn't work as well as like it probably should be. It should comedically, because that's how it should be. But like there's some of it where it's just
Right.
it's really cringeworthy.
I think people
dialogue.
need to really lower their expectations because this is not going to be like a rated R Guardians of the Galaxy. Like this is going to be far.
Yeah, because like
Like-
Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad are just inherently different.
Well, yeah, and my point really is like you can't just bring in James Gunn and have him, like he did a really good job with Guardians of the Galaxy, and he does that really well. I don't think he's just gonna be able to step in with like it's a completely different thing. And if people go into this and be like, "Oh my God, it's James Gunn. He did Guardians of the Galaxy. This is gonna be like a great movie. It's gonna be like all these weird characters and
You want to piss people off.
it's just be like a rated R Guardians of the Galaxy. Like it's absolutely not. This movie will I will be shocked if this isn't like a dumpster fire review when we actually finally see this movie.
Two things. Do you want to make a bet about that?
About what?
It being a dumpster fire review.
Oh, I can almost guarantee this is gonna be.
Okay, what do we bet?
I don't know.
Not money. We have to have like a dare of some sort.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you?
We'll come up with something. Two.
Okay.
You want to piss people off a lot?
Sure.
Is it almost akin to bringing like Josh Whedon into doing Justice League and
No.
assuming? Well, just listen. Just wait.
No.
Assuming that he's going to change Justice League for the better,
Turn it into the Avengers.
turn it into the Avengers, where like they're thinking they're going to turn this into like Guardians of the Galaxy but rated R.
Say that again. Sorry.
Turning it into Guardians of the Galaxy but rated R. Like turning it Marvel-y.
I
or
think it's.
just
I think
doing
it's. I think it's really close, but
It's different enough of a comparison
Yeah,
to
no.
not be able to do it.
Because
Yeah.
it's like complete. It's under like completely different circumstances, right? Like
I like that.
I'm not doing that.
I like that. That's a bet. All right, cool.
But that's like it doesn't matter because like I can just come in here and say it's a dumpster review. Like there's no like
no, because
there's no
both of us have to agree that it's a dumpster fire review.
no we don't.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
No.
yeah. One of us. Hold on. Let's make this real easy.
Okay.
I'll come.
I'll dye my hair Harley Quinn colors for a weekend.
for a show.
Yeah, for the show.
All right, bet.
Okay.
And what do I have to do if?
But
it is a
wait.
dumpster-
But what are the like criteria?
if both of us agree that it's a dumpster fire review? Because and then it's like
because you're never gonna.
But okay. If one of us likes it but the other doesn't, then it's off. But like if we both like it,
But how does that work? Like if we both think is if one of us is off, like the other person who doesn't think it's a dumpster fire review has to dye their hair.
no.
Like in what circumstance would you have to dye your hair?
if we both think it's a dumpster fire review,
Oh, I see.
yeah.
No, see, that's way weighted toward like your.
No, because like I'll come in here and legitimately be like, I didn't fucking like it. This is a gentleman's agreement, Ryan. We have to
Is
trust
it?
each other. Yes, I will legitimately come in. If I don't like it, I will not hold back, and like I will come in here and bitch about it. But like if I like it, you'll be able to tell.
Okay. We'll figure.
I like the hair dye idea.
Yeah.
Red and blue.
I'm just looking for a reason to dye my hair.
Perfect.
Thoughts?
No, that's no. Okay, so what did Vinny say about the rest? What was the other stuff that?
Well, he's shifted.
Is he going into other stuff?
He shifted the conversation to the Snyderverse.
Oh, what about it?
And he called it the Schneiderverse for some reason.
What?
I think he just misspelled it.
Mm.
The thoughts on Restore the Snyderverse getting 1.5 million tweets. I'm not at all fucking surprised.
I'm not surprised at all. I think
I'm right there with
I want to tell you, I want to ask you something. Whoa, we can tell people about this. Do you want to still do the thing tomorrow? The Zack Snyder.
Oh, fuck. How long is that out? How long is that going to be?
A couple more months. I don't think there was like an end date.
I don't know. I might be busy tomorrow.
Are you busy tomorrow, Ryan?
I might be busy.
What are you doing tomorrow, Ryan?
A lot of orders to pack.
A
lot of Pokemon cards to get in the mail.
No, here's what I think.
Shameless plug. If you want Pokemon cards.
Yeah, if you want Pokemon cards, go to
deaddrawgaming.com.
Yes. That's our official sponsor. Because Ryan pays me for Shabu. No, here's the thing. People like Ray Fisher yesterday was putting out like all of this tweet was like hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
Okay.
And I think I quote tweeted it and it was like Ray Fisher right now. And it was just like a picture of the little girl from Bob's Burgers, like laughing. And there's like fire in the background. Like he's just lighting Twitter on fire. Like he knows what he's doing. B, I think he's like, yeah, like let's really get the Snyderverse. But like he also knows as soon as people see that, they're going to be like, oh shit, and it's gonna light Twitter on fire.
If you really want the Snyderverse to like actually happen, Ray Fisher needs to shut his goddamn mouth.
He needs to well, I think he needs to be like kind of vocal, but like I think he needs to literally send it to or tag the people who are making these decisions. Otherwise, it's legitimately just a campaign to like light Twitter on fire, and like there's no legitimate end goal because they all know this isn't fucking happening now.
Even if he wants to like see the Snyderverse, he knows he's not going to be part of the Snyderverse. So it's like the more Warner Brothers executives see of like Ray Fisher like creating a Twitter storm around this, the less likely they're like inclined to do it.
I see what your point is.
The more they see it as like an organic, actual like. And there's actually millions of people out there tweeting about restoring the Snyderverse, then like that's going to lead to them like reversing course on their current decision to.
What is your like chances of like, and let's just say the hashtag, I guess, of actually restoring the Snyderverse? Let's say the goal is to restoring it on HBO Max.
And we're talking about like in some form or fashion having like a sequel to the Justice League.
Either albeit a movie or a TV series of some sort.
Dude, I would say it's less than 20%. I would be like, and probably even like less than 10%.
And I know I've been like pretty hyperbolic about being like, oh, I think they're gonna fucking do it. Like I think it's gonna come back and blah blah blah. Like I thought that until Monday when like they basically had a piece ready to go with the CEO and she was like, no, like we're done. Like, unless that is hey, they're trying to build interest, which it did not feel like I don't see this happening. And it's legitimately like Zack Snyder and like his allies directing people now to like basically shit all over AT&T and Warner Brothers. Like,
what?
AT&T owns Warner Brothers.
No, I know. But Snyder was...
Dude, if you looked at their tweet yesterday, AT&T's tweet yesterday,
sure,
they had a tweet where it was like, stop Asian hate, like we need to help, blah, blah, like that type of stuff.
Okay.
Which that's another conversation, but whatever. And I mean all of them.
All of them about the Snyderverse?
Not even just that. It was fucking hundreds of people, all of the tweets, hashtag restore the Snyderverse, hashtag restore the Snyderverse, hashtag restore the Snyderverse. And then other people being like, hey, like, we don't need to be doing that on this post. Like, we need to be like stopping Asian hate, and like, which doesn't need to happen. But like, the real story there is all these people just spam the shit out of this AT&T tweet about stopping Asian hate, and that's just what these fans are doing. They know Zack Snyder wants to do a sequel, So they're just attacking AT&T and Warner Brothers at any freaking chance. And the more that these people promote the fact that they want to do another Snyderverse movie, like that's not going to stop. So it's like either y'all shut up and just like, let the negotiations happen, or let the numbers speak for themselves on HBO Max, like how many people are watching the movie.
Yeah, I do like totally disagree there.
Okay, but what
I think like they need to be doing that like 24/7 nonstop, because that's how Warner Brothers decided to reverse course and actually give Zack Snyder $70 million to do the Snyder Cut, right? Like Warner Brothers isn't going to sit around and like convince themselves that it's a good idea to somehow do the Snyderverse. And I think the chances of it are so low, because for Warner Brothers, it doesn't make sense to do it like in any way, right? Like it doesn't make sense to scrap all your plans for the next like 2 years and then like put Justice League 2 and 3 into theaters, and have to like bring back all these actors. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense financially for them. Like it doesn't make sense for their current plans, like the current congruency of like their planned DC films to put it in theaters. And it doesn't make sense for them to do it on HBO Max either, because on that route, it just doesn't make sense financially. You're not going to pour like just, let's say, $200 million for each either season or movie to put on HBO Max. And if you're doing like 2 sequel movies or 2 sequel seasons at like $200 million, there's like, I don't know. I don't think that's financially
viable.
Yeah, it's not.
No, it's not at all. But like, unless they just go the Netflix model where they're like just throwing money at content and they don't care how much it costs. But like, that's not how
HBO Max is going to work.
Yeah, and so
because the other thing is, by the time they like finish negotiations with Zack Snyder and all the actors that would have to come back and then get into production, by the time that fucking thing would like actually be on HBO Max, people aren't going to be watching fucking HBO Max, really. Like, the pandemic's going to be over. People are going to be back in the movie theaters. Like, there's going to be a shit ton of stuff to do other than, like, watch Zack Snyder's, like, sequel series on HBO Max. People are going to be making babies, doing Blow in Miami.
They're already making babies
like,
right now.
Shit's going to be crazy when, like, everything comes back.
No, but
it wouldn't make sense just to put this on.
What is more apparent, or like what is a better indicator for HBO Max, or for let's just say Warner Brothers or whoever like is the head of HBO Max? A bunch of people anger tweeting at them on Twitter, or a ass load of views on HBO Max? Because you can be vocal, but like as soon as Zack Snyder has all the numbers and legitimately goes to Warner Brothers or HBO, whoever the fuck like they have to talk to, who will talk to them about doing a sequel, they're not going to go in there and be like, 1.5 million people tweeted Snyderverse on a Friday. They're going to go in and say like, hey, look how many people watched your shit on the first day. Look how many more people will watch if we do a second or third sequel. So like, I get it's good that 1.5 million people like retweeted that type of thing, but what people need to do, and I think all those people who did tweet have already watched it, but like get your friends to watch it or talk about it, or like, and maybe that's what the 1.5 million people do is, all of those tweets then gets a lot more people interested and say like, okay, well, why are all these people tweeting about it? And then they watch it if they hadn't already. So maybe that's the way that this goes. But like, I just think that there's other ways of doing it. But at the end of the day, like, stupidly, I have a feeling that Warner Brothers is just kind of done, and they're moving on with some of their other stuff.
I think at this point, that's probably the smartest thing to do. I don't know. I mean, I don't know like how many fans are invested enough into this new version of Justice League and in the Snyderverse to be like, hey, if you guys don't give us more like Snyderverse movies or TV shows, like, we're going to be done with DC for X number of years, right? Like, I wouldn't think that there's going to be a huge amount of fans that are going to just completely give up on DC movies or content because they didn't continue the Snyderverse. Like,
It's the same thing as like the NFL. Like you say you're not going to watch the NFL because somebody took a knee. Like shut the fuck up. You're going to still keep watching NFL.
Yeah, plenty.
Like
Right.
it's the same thing. So no, people are going to continue to watch this shit, and it's not going to really matter. But no, I think it is an interesting conversation, and it's something. And I don't know. There's a lot to it, and it's just a lot's going on with it. And,
Yeah, we talked about it enough already.
Yeah.
Between
were there anything else that he wanted to say? You
No.
read it, and I will. Oh, there's nothing.
That was it.
Okay, well, I will still plug our Instagram and Twitter. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we are at Furloughed Film Talks. We are also on Twitter at Furloughed Film. Always remember to rate the podcast on Apple Podcasts. The closer we get to 200 reviews on Apple Podcasts, the closer we can get to being Rotten Tomato reviewers, which would be hilarious and amazing. Because
It'd be pretty fun.
That is a great marketing tool, and I will be upfront and honest and just say that is a good marketing tool that helps us get.
He had one more comment.
Perfect,
and we can literally answer this in 3 words and move on. The Snyderverse gets restored. Does Affleck Batman movie happen? No fucking way. There's no way.
No, there's no way.
There's literally no chance.
But that's the other thing. Like, if they continue with the Snyderverse, it's like, okay, well, and this is what will happen. It's a never-ending like argument. Oh, like you've restored the Snyderverse. Well, what about a Batfleck movie? Or what about like a Cyborg movie? Or like what about a this, and this? And it's just like, holy hell, dude.
That's why I'm like, even after how good Justice League was, I'm like, don't do another Wonder Woman movie. Don't do the Flash movie. Just do Robert Pattinson's Batman and then move on from there.
Did you see that Michael Keaton's not technically signed up for the Flash movie?
I'm not surprised.
He's not because of like COVID. So like he's not.
Yeah, like that's not 100% happening.
That's not, even though they like released art with him in it next to the Flash. Like that's a huge mistake if he's not already signed up.
Right. Well, whatever. We've talked about this 1,000 times. So,
but I'm just saying, like, that's huge news that we hadn't talked about.
No, I know.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
So, anything else? I know he's.
Nope, we're good.
So yeah, that's all. Suicide Squad. Where are we at now?
Almost 30 minutes.
Holy hell! But now the second Marvel Cinematic Universe Disney Plus show, that's a mouthful, is out. It is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Episodes 1 and 2 have.
You want to give a quick plug for 000?
I've seen
one episode,
1.25 episodes.
You want to finish that before we talk about it?
We can talk about it, sure.
I mean, it's just a like.
You explain it because I have an idea of what's happening, but like you obviously know more about it.
Yeah, basically the entire show is about like there's 3 groups of people. And it's all set. Like it's all based on the inner workings of the drug trade, specifically like the cocaine trade. And you have the buyers who are like a mafia group in southern Italy. You have the sellers who are a drug cartel in Mexico, and then you have the brokers who are a family in New Orleans, Louisiana, who arrange like the transaction and then also assist in getting the cargo shipped from Mexico to Italy.
Are they all in New Orleans?
Yeah, like that family. Okay, so the kid that's running around the boat in like the 3rd episode, he's actually his father was the one that brokered this deal, and his sister runs the shipping company, and his sister and his dad went down to Mexico to like finalize the deal. And those Mexican army dudes like raided the restaurant they were in, and his dad got shot and died as a like due to that. And then he had to, so that's when his sister like brought him into the business to like assist in like going with this shipment into Italy.
It's based on a book.
Is it?
Yeah, by Roberto Saviano.
Anyways, we're like 3 episodes in, I think.
3 or 4, yeah.
We were like almost finished the 4th episode. This fucking show is amazing.
It's pretty good.
Super good.
And it's the interactions between the different characters are really, really well done, where the dialogue makes you are heightened at all times. You are locked in pretty much the entire episode. The other part about this is it is a beautifully shot show.
It's insanely
because
shot well.
The majority of the scenes are on like a tanker of some sort or like a boat.
Well, I mean, that's just
but so some of it,
or it's in like this mountainous region of Italy,
and the cinematography behind that makes it perfection in almost every shot. So
and you
that
have
was the other part of it that I was just like, damn.
You have the super high suspense of of Ozark, and I don't know, it's really good.
No, it's a
I
great show.
really like the show.
Yeah, we'll talk about it once we finish it because
I'm enjoying it way more than
There are 8 episodes, so we're halfway through. But yes, the other thing that we are going to talk about.
It's a good segue into
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which stars
dumpster fire.
Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. Ryan thinks that it is more of a dumpster fire than I do. I don't think it's that much of a dumpster fire yet, but it is not trending in the way that I was hoping.
Is this getting like anywhere close to the amount of buzz that WandaVision did?
No.
Like this is like no one's talking about this. I haven't seen jack. The only thing I've seen on Twitter or on any social media about this is like the fact that the new Captain America looks kind of goofy and he blinked at the camera.
He winked
at the camera. Yeah, that's that's literally the only thing I've seen, and that was a microsecond of the first episode.
This is so. I mean, let's give a background on what the show's about before we kind of jump into it. This is set 6 months after the blip from Avengers Endgame. Everybody is now back.
This is like 6 months after the conclusion of
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
So they call it the returns. Like everybody came back.
So the blip was like when everyone disappeared.
Yeah, and the return is when Banner and everybody came back. Or no, not Banner.
It was
Banner. It was Banner because then Tony Stark did that to
Thanos.
They
really are missing out on the opportunity to call it the Dusting.
That would be good.
But anyways.
Anywho, so it is following Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson, aka Falcon, who is well known by a lot of people, but then some of the times they don't know who he is, and then like the cops are like, "Oh shit, it's the blah blah blah."
In the show,
yeah, who is having to deal with the fact that Captain America wanted him to be the new Captain America and gave him the shield, but Sam doesn't feel like he deserves to be Captain America, so he gets the shield to the U.S. government, who, surprise, surprise, fucking makes a new Captain America.
Shocker.
That happens at the end of the first episode. Meanwhile, Bucky is hanging out with people who, spoiler, whose sons he killed. And that's the whole first episode in a nutshell right there. The second episode,
which real fast, it's amazing that Marvel was able to make a filler episode for their first episode of this show.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
The second episode, I think, well, in my opinion, the second episode is better than the first episode because the first episode I was just but how the second episode ends, I was like, cool. And well, you were about to say something.
No, we'll get to it.
Okay,
sure.
Second episode, finally, and this is something where it's like, the hell. You open up with this new Captain America who's a character named John Walker. In the comics, he becomes a character named U.S. Agent. He's played by Wyatt Russell, and you kind of are getting more background on him, but through exposition of Good Morning America, which sweet ABC plug, Disney plug, which we're used to with Sony doing all their phones in their movies. So, we're not.
But to be fair, that would be kind of what would happen in real life. He would make all the morning show rounds if
Trust me, I know. Yes, that's not what I'm saying.
If
What
there
I'm
was like
saying
a
is,
new Captain America in real life. Or
what I'm saying is like in any other movie or series, it'd be like, yeah, he'd be doing the rounds. This was just like, hey, he's doing that ABC show.
Sure.
And then he's got the line where he's like, "Good morning, America."
Well, it was like really.
Fuck.
He could have been doing like any TV show or morning TV show. They really purposely like did a camera pan through the broadcast studio and like showed the Good Morning America logo.
Yeah,
like he could just be could have been interviewed for TV, but like they really purposely showed all the branding for Good Morning America, and I think had the host from the real life host from
Anyways, like that always pulls me out and like kind of ticks me off whenever I see that type of stuff. But like
that is like
it's not surprising,
especially for Marvel. That's kind of cheap for them to do.
Like, and that's my point. Like it's still really cheap when I'm watching like Amazing Spider-Man 2 and they're all using like Sony phones and shit. Sony shit. Like, it's just like, okay, I get it. You want product placement for your shit. And like, it's different. It's the same thing with like Apple, like in Ted Lasso, they're all using like Macs and like iPhones.
Sure.
But like not 80% of people in America use iPhones, or like the vast majority of
that I didn't like really bother me, because
but that's the point, because a lot of people use fucking iPhones.
No, yeah,
so it makes sense.
And if
nobody's using a goddamn Sony phone,
right? And if you're following like the coach of a Premier League soccer team and the owner of a Premier League soccer team, like of course they're using fucking iPhones and Apple Macs.
Anyways,
that's my point. That makes complete sense. Like that doesn't draw you out of it. Really.
No, and that's the point. It's like when it draws you out of the show, it just really ticks me off. So there's my rant about like product placement when your company has shitty products. Anyways,
that is not even the least of my worries with this.
I know we're getting there. So you have this to begin with, and then you have this weird moment where Sam and Bucky reunite, but there's no explanation for like how Bucky knew where Sam was or like what Sam was doing.
Well, that must have been like he meets him at the army base. Yeah, so that just must have been the base that like Sam is stationed at. So Bucky knew who's going to be there. But
Sam wasn't replying, or Bucky wasn't replying to Sam's text, or so Bucky knew.
Dude, fuck if I know. Nothing in the show makes sense.
And that's my point. And like that, I am agreeing with you on that. So, you have that. They go on this mission. They get their ass kicked. There's these flag smashers. There's all this other shit. There's some racial.
Okay, yeah. And please explain to me what the flag smashers are again, because I've watched both episodes and I've asked you to explain it to me. I still don't fucking understand.
So in the comics, the Flag Smashers are a person. It's a super soldier person,
which they teased so far.
Yeah. In this, it's an organization of like 8 super soldiers who their main idea was that the world was better off after the blip and before the return. So those 5 years where like half of humanity was.
So they're basically like with Thanos on thinking that,
in a sense, and not in that sense where it's like there's going to be more resources and blah, blah, blah. It was supposedly in the universe when the blip happened, like country lines basically just disappeared.
Okay.
And like everybody was working together. So like everybody's alliances were vastly changed because like everybody was working together, and it was harmonious or some shit. And then as soon as like the blip happened, that just all went away because all these people came back, and then country lines came back, and everybody kind of had to refigure everything else out. That's they think it should go back to no country lines.
Okay, I understand how you're explaining it. I don't understand how anyone in the right mind could actually like come to that conclusion. Like, yes, when 50% of the world's population disappears, of course
there's going to be more resources.
Things are going to be fucking vastly different. Like, there's not going to be there's going to be barely operational governments. Like, of course, there's not going to be borders or anything, right?
Like half of humanity is gone. So like, let's just assume like half of the world leaders are just going to have disappeared.
Yes.
So like all of a sudden, like there's just a vacuum of power.
Plus half of the world's like security forces have disappeared. So. But like that doesn't make any sense to me. That's like one issue.
And I'm not explaining this part.
Well, hold on. Like the other like major issue with this is they didn't like really make it okay. So I understand how you're explaining it, but you don't explain it in this show.
No, it's
basically at all.
It's legitimately the only way that they explain it is by saying this one sentence. They liked it before the return, and they thought that like it was better because there were no country lines. And that's the only reason I'm saying country lines is because that's what they say in the show.
That's what they say in the show. Like they don't explain it well in the show, and like that'd be excusable if at some point in Endgame they're like, okay, this is how the world is different. And like
they don't do that at all.
Like there's no country lines. There's like way more alliances. Like you get the picture from Endgame, like it's an apocalyptic hellscape.
Yeah, the only idea that you get is like the therapy group that like Captain America is leading.
Right, and that's like you get Ant-Man walking around San Francisco, and it's like a fucking.
Well, and that's like right after the fact, or when he comes back. Yeah.
He's the first one to come back. He comes back to it like well into.
Because he's stuck in the microverse, let's just call it
the quantum realm.
But
anyways, like the like picture you get of that time period is literally like the exact opposite of what these people are supposedly opining for. It makes no fucking sense congruently.
I'm going to basically give them an out.
It doesn't even make fucking sense for like their other Disney Plus show. Like Wanda is all depressed and shit because like the world she has come back to is complete dog shit without Vision and without like all these things. And now you're gonna tell me that like the villain group wants to go back to when everything.
I think that's like two very different like cases. Like, and I think this is what they are going to do. I hope. And this is the out. Like, there's still 4 episodes, like 4 hours of this show left. Where
there's only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It can get better, but there's let's just say 3.5 hours left where there needs to be a justification, not from a character who's not in this group, but somebody within this group who eternalizes and they, advocate for why they legitimately have this viewpoint, other than some other character who's not involved in this, just saying like they want no country lines, and then like having these characters just fight a bunch of people. Like, that doesn't really explain why the fuck they're doing what they're doing, other than like wanting to do evil, basically.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, there's like
no justification.
There's literally zero character development for and it could very well turn out to where the new Captain America is like the actual villain of this series. So
which I think they're definitely trying to set that up. And they're like trying to kind of make him this like, especially, and it was weird because it wasn't until that moment where he was like, well, don't get in my way, boy. Like that type shit where he was like, don't get in my way.
Yeah.
Like that was the first like antagonistic moment. But like, there's no.
Which is like kind of understandable from his point of view because he's tried several times to kind of team up with Sam and Bucky. And they're basically the ones who are like, fuck off, man. So of course he's going to be like, fuck. Like, okay, if you don't want to like help me, get the fuck out of my way. And
they're not setting this up as because it's not the problem that like Sam and Bucky really have is not with this guy, it's with the U.S. government. Like they have a real problem with the U.S. government, like taking the shield and giving it to somebody that they don't think deserves it. Mm-hmm. And the only person that they think deserves it is Sam, because that's who Captain America wanted, which that makes sense. But they're not setting that up. They're not setting it up to where like Sam and Bucky are really upset with the U.S. government. They're setting it up that they're upset with the guy who took the shield.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's like the best way to set this up. Now, maybe there's something in these next couple episodes. And that's the problem with like doing reviews of this is like, there's more episodes to come. So like maybe there's
we're not working with like a full picture.
Yeah. It's like maybe there's more to where, they really do start to, and I think they're kind of planting that seed because you have Isaiah Bradley's character who like obviously had been experimented on and was a super soldier and then was put in prison for 30 years. Like they're setting that thing up where like the government was pretty shady. So like I think there's gonna be some more government figures who come in who are supposed to be the ones that you heap all this anger and dislike on.
Yeah.
And like, because in the comics, the guy that is Captain America now, John Walker, becomes U.S. agent who's not really a villain, but he's not really a hero. Like he's pretty brutal. So I think that's where they're setting this up. Where like you're not really supposed to hate this guy. Like you're not supposed to like him either, but you're really supposed to not like the U.S. government. So that's why I'm just like not ready to say like this show's not good. There's so much more info that we need, but they've done not a great job of setting up these first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there's not. They've had the action sequences and they've had the like decent character development. Like they had very good character development for Sam and Bucky in the first episode.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, like I don't know. It's weird because with WandaVision, this kind of template worked really well. Like you took 2 kind of side characters and like to make up for the fact that these characters were like lesser known and more of like background characters, they made up for that by doing like a ridiculously entertaining like overlay with the different time periods from the 50s to the 2000s.
Yeah.
But with this, like you don't have anything to make it more interesting. All you have are these background characters, and then you have some enemy or criminal group who are causing problems.
Yeah.
And like for that, there was, like we said, there's literally no development there. So like, do we really care what's going on there?
And I think that's the biggest. Go ahead.
The worst thing is like it was so ridiculous in the second episode where Bucky goes to meet with Sam, right? And like he goes to meet to see Sam at the base, and he's like all on his balls about giving up the shield, and this new guy taking the shield, and all Sam has to say is, "Oh, there's these guys who are super strong in Europe that are like causing problems," and Bucky's like, I'm gonna go with you and fucking fight.
I'm coming with you. Like
it's like
that makes
Sam literally said nothing except like he showed him a video and like they're really strong.
Like, let's go.
And then Bucky's like, "Oh, I'm coming with you. Let's go check it out."
And I think that's the other thing that's like a huge missed opportunity, but like we don't know how it's gonna progress. Like the big villain of the show is supposed to be Baron Zemo, and we are now an hour and 45 minutes in.
And literally haven't seen him.
Except for like 5 seconds at the end of the second episode. Like they showed him for 2 seconds.
Okay.
That's that guy at the end. That's Baron Zemo. Like, so like that part of it to me is like, I don't give a shit about the Flag Smashers. Like, give me like Zemo. Like,
the person in the first episode who like literally picked up the army dude and threw him to the ground, was that one of the people that we saw in the second episode? Or was it Baron Zemo?
That's one of the dudes.
Or is it like a third person that's like the leader of?
I think that's the guy who like got.
Okay.
So like, yeah, that's part of the Flag Smashers. Like Baron Zemo was the guy who was like, we have to go see Zemo, and then like all of a sudden at the very end of the episode, they like cut to like a prison cell, and he's like sitting there and he looks up and it's him.
Yeah, and Baron Zemo is the one that like hung the dude upside down and drowned him in the like sink or whatever, right? Yeah. Okay.
Baron Zemo's a freaking badass dude.
Because Vinny was asking, do you think Baron Zemo will play a big role? Yeah, definitely. Like
for sure.
He is the like big bad of this series. Of
the show. Like he is going to be the one who like does some crazy ass shit. So like
which again doesn't make fucking sense. Like if he's is he supposed to be part of the Flag Smashers?
I don't think so, but like that's not answered, like because he's been in prison, so there's no way. Like there's no way that
he's not part of the Flag Smashers, and then like how does he get out of prison? And is it just he has the same motivation as he did in Civil War?
Yeah.
So we're just basically fucking doing Civil War with the sidekick characters.
I don't think they're redoing like what they did in Civil War. There will obviously be something where he's like trying to kill Falcon and Winter Soldier, but like maybe like I have no idea what they're gonna fucking go move.
I don't know. All I say is like,
and here's the thing that kind of is making me a little upset. Like in Arrow shows, you'd have like a villain of the week type of thing, which that's fine. But then you'd have like the secondary villain and then there would be the big bad. So you'd have these like tiers of villains where it's like, okay, well, here's kind of the one that like is gonna be the misdirection, and then here's the big bad.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing here. They've got this Flag Smashers, which is supposed to be like the misdirection second level, and then you have Baron Zemo. Like, stop with this shit. Like, just get that out of the way and just go up against Baron Zemo.
Right.
Because that's
Or
going to be
just,
the interesting stuff.
Like, not have Baron Zemo in the show at all, because he's just basically a rehash of like half a dozen movies ago, right? And like just do the Flag Smashers or whatever it is.
I think Baron Zemo, because like Baron Zemo in Civil War was not like a fully realized version of what that character is. So like I think if you can do that full version of him, like it's gonna be really cool.
Okay. Well,
I think that's all to say. Like and maybe this isn't Falcon and the Winter Soldier's fault. They had WandaVision put in front of them.
Okay.
They cannot live up to that level.
Right.
And it is very much a MCU by the books type of thing. And we're now talking about it a third of the way through without the full picture of it. So maybe we get through 4 and 5 and we're super stoked for 6.
I guess. I mean,
but it's not looking good.
No, it's not looking good, and you don't need to have the full picture to be able to like watch the first 2 episodes and say kind of definitively like this is a disorganized mess.
Yeah, right now.
Right. So
now, but we will not do a rating of it right now because that's not fair. But
yeah. All right, we got a few more audience questions.
Let's go.
Does Falcon and the Winter Soldier set up the Thunderbolts? I have no idea what that means.
You're not going to like this comparison.
Okay.
The Thunderbolts are basically like Suicide Squad. So, but in the MCU. So, do you remember who
the Thunderbolts good or bad? Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you
that's
remember
an oxymoron.
You remember General Ross?
Yeah.
So he sets up the Thunderbolts, and literally because his nickname is Thunderbolt Ross.
Okay. And just Marvel's smart enough not to do this.
Yeah, they've never done it. But like he becomes a character called Red Hulk. And I don't remember who else is in it. As far as like Thunderbolts characters, but like they're reformed supervillains.
I don't see anything.
Baron Zemo is one of them. I could see them doing it because they're pulling in a lot of people where it's like they've been in the movies and it's like, oh shit.
But I don't think we don't really have any indication from the first 2 episodes that that's the direction they're going.
Yes.
Solely because they literally haven't really shown Baron Zemo yet.
Who has been in the Thunderbolts? Because like they're bringing Norman Osborn, Bullseye, Venom, Baron's. Yeah, okay, this is why. Baron Zemo, Taskmaster. They're about to put Taskmaster into Black Widow, so like he could be one. So I think they could do it. It would be for a while, but like it's a possibility for sure.
Okay. Do you think John Walker will release Baron Zemo out of jail to do his bidding, and in the end they find out that John Walker was behind everything? I hope so. That'd be way more interesting than what the hell they're trying to do right now.
Like John Walker works with Zemo, so Zemo can like go fuck on Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Basically, like John Walker turns out to be the kind of mastermind behind all of Baron Zemo's.
Maybe
craziness.
I don't know. I don't think they would do something like that, but maybe it's possible.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna like take the John Walker character that evil, right? He's gonna be like a kind of morally gray character rather than like going
evil
completely down.
They are setting him up though, because this episode he was like, it's me. Like I got Bucky out of prison. Like maybe that is a setup for it's like, yeah, you could get somebody like Zemo out of prison.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Maybe. It's an interesting idea to have though, for sure. And then he has another question about the Thunderbolts. He says, I think Baron Zemo will be there to help set up the Thunderbolts for the future. Possibly.
I can see it for sure because I think they're starting to throw characters in here who could be the Thunderbolts, and like that's been popular.
And possibly, if we had seen Black Widow already, like what had been planned, that might have been set up more definitively with Black Widow.
Yeah, so
there might have been something in Black Widow that like kind of leads to the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, some form of like, hey, recruitment to the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I really hope
Taskmaster's taken down, and
I really hope the release dates of all these like movies don't completely fuck up the timeline and like the interconnectedness of their Disney Plus shows and the theatrical releases.
We did not talk about that. Black Widow got pushed. That happened very recently. That got pushed to July 9th. Yeah. And Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings has been pushed to September. I don't remember the exact
date. And then the Eternals are going to be November. Yeah. And Spider-Man's going to be December.
The 5th episode of Loki and Black Widow will be released on the same day.
Yeah.
So that will be a MCU heavy day for sure. But I think that's done. I think July 9th will be when Black Widow comes out. But who knows? So
we get fucking attacked by aliens or something.
Yeah, or murder hornets.
Anyways,
interesting. No, this is a good episode.
Yeah.
No, a long one.
Ready for some In and Out?
Is that what we're doing tonight, Ryan?
I'm gonna go get some In and Out.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
Everybody, thank you guys for listening. This has been a really great episode. If you're listening to this after the fact, we do our YouTube live streams usually it's Monday, Thursday. We did this one on Friday, but so the next episode we do, episode 89, could be an absolutely batshit crazy one. So you will definitely want to listen to that one. I'm going to hype the shit out of that one. But everybody, check out our Instagram at Furloughed Film Talks, Twitter at Furloughed Film. Subscribe, do all the things. We really appreciate your help and support. But everybody have a good weekend, and we will see y'all Monday.
Adios, amigos.